Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This of course is another anime reaction video. Today we're getting back to some more Arakawa Under the Bridge, episode 8 of season 1. In the last episode, first half I believe, Recruit was trying and mostly, for the most part, failing to do his new teaching job. He was trying to get that off the ground. I'm sure it worked a little bit from my memory, but from what I remember, things ended up going pretty badly in a few areas, and most noticeably Stella. She became a kind of a punk, like gangster, real asshole. Had zero time for anything Recruit was trying to do, but she did appreciate, some of the praise from Sister, I believe. But then in the second half, in a surprising, but maybe not actually that surprising development, we actually learned that Pico has a crush on Chief Kappa. Thinking about it, not that strange. They're all weirdo eccentrics living under a bridge. They don't meet very many new people here. All the people we've met, they've known each other for a long time. We're just meeting them because we're meeting them with Recruit who has never met them before. So that makes it weird from that perspective. And honestly, it's very commendable, the reasons why Pico has a thing for the Chief, because she likes how, like, uninhibited he is, so to speak. He is who he is no matter what. He's true to himself, which respect, and it ended up making Recruit ask a very important philosophical question. What is common sense? Because he's been trying to teach them common sense all along, but all of this common sense is common sense from where he comes from. But even if we take away the extreme of this underbridge eccentric community, even between cities, common sense differs. That's just the way things are. You know what I mean? I think I mentioned this in the last video. And it's not even like Recruit is exempt for this. Even if he continued to think that Pico's a weirdo for having a thing for the Chief, he's not, that would make him, you know what they say about projectile mineralogy inside glass houses, throwing stones in glass houses. He would be a hypocrite to like belittle her for that, because he is literally Nico's lover, or Nino rather. He is literally Nino's lover. Established episode 1, he and Nino, they're a thing, and Nino is just as weird as the Chief. The only difference is the Chief decides that he wants to wear the Kappa outfit and wants to, say he is a Kappa. To be fair, they could eventually, by the end of the season, go the fantastical route and be like, no, he really was a Kappa, instead of the way I expect it to end, which is, it's all, like, again, just being true to themselves. This is what they want to do, this is how they want to be, and, just let them be if they're not hurting anybody, right? But either way, yeah, no, that's pretty much what to say about that. It's a really interesting situation going on with them, but it'll be interesting to see how this progresses, because usually, at least for these past few episodes, there's been like sort of a rhythm to it. The first half is dedicated to continuing on what ended the last episode, and the second half of the episode is dedicated to a lot of setup to what will be finished in the first half of the next episode. So I wonder if that's going to happen now, continuing off where we left off with Pico's crush on the Chief, and also the reveal that Chief can lengthen his hair basically at will. I don't know how that works, but I guess we'll find out. Oh, that's right! We saw some people that know Recruit standing on the bridge calling out to him, I believe. Whew, that'll be interesting. But, I mean, without further ado, let's get started with episode 8 of season 1 of Arakawa Under the Bridge. As always, links down in the description below to either Bitsheet or Pixel Drain will take you to the full-length, uncut reaction, so go ahead and follow one of those links, then come back to YouTube for the discussion. But before we do get started, I should probably mention this at the start of every series, at least for one video. But Pixel Drain, I guess, was having issues with abuse in regards to the video player. Normally you could stream what was uploaded or download it, but I guess people were exploiting that or abusing it. From having read the tweets on the creator's Twitter, it was being abused for gore stuff, I guess. So they disabled the player for Patreon-only supporters. I was never a Patreon supporter. I'm just doing this as a hobby. I can't afford that. I maybe technically could afford the cheaper ones, but I'm gonna refrain from that right now because I'm still in college. But yeah, if you want to stream it, it's BitChute only. But if you're fine with downloading it, I don't know what the download speeds are like on there, or how they will be, depending on where you live. But if you want the more HD looking version, because the compression on BitChute is a lot, they get to be lower quality. You'll have to download it off of Pixel Drain. But if you're fine with BitChute, you're fine with BitChute. It is what it is. I would try and do like timer based reactions on YouTube, so you can sync it up with your own copy of it. But I end up occasionally pausing or going back if I miss something. So I don't think that's very viable for most of these. I can try and change that up in the future, but I don't think I will. And I've been talking for too long. So let's just get started with the episode 8 of Arakawa under the Bridge. Boy, can we talk about that for a second? Finally, a kiss. You know, I was marveling at the romantic bits in early episodes, specifically when Nino was wearing that beautiful dress. That was great. You know, obviously they were steadily progressing with their relationship, but now we've gone to. I have never been familiar with the bases, but I'm pretty sure first base is holding hands. Second base, I want to say, is touching. Third base is, I believe, kissing, and then fourth base, or not fourth base, home run would be sex. It would be going all the way. But damn, I was not expecting that. I'm not surprised that Nino isn't necessarily aware of how all of that works. But the fact that she was willing to step forward and take initiative at all is impressive. I appreciate that about her. I like Nino a lot. She's a lot of fun. You know, despite her being a bit of an airhead, she is true to herself, which is a very admirable quality, as has been previously established by the show and by myself by mentioning it. Like I said, reminds me of the first chapter of Takane and Hana, where the main female lead grabs the guy, pulls him in by the tie, and kisses him. In this one, it's a lot happier, especially in regards to the guy. Recruit was way happier about it, but I imagine it might be like Takane and Hana, where I'm only like 9 volumes into Takane and Hana, but so far there hasn't been super like many more kisses since then. But to be fair, they aren't technically established in a relationship yet. You know what I mean? You probably don't, but that's not important. But since they're lovers, but I kind of this isn't really the kind of show. There's bits of romance here and there, but this is mostly a comedy show. So, but like every once in a while, please. Because that was magical. That little kiss was magical. In fact, that's probably going to be the thumbnail. It finally happened, you know? But something I wasn't expecting was the short little father and son relationship that they were going to develop slightly there. You know, because they mentioned that because of the way that I almost want to start referring to Recruit as Takane, but Recruit was sort of raised to the way he was raised was like just terrible. It was awful. I don't think anybody should be raised like that, because it's clear that it's not been the best way to raise somebody. He is efficient in his business work, but just like social life and, you know, and all of that is just kind of out of whack. So seeing that that bit of relationship, it was played up for laughs, but genuinely Takai's obsession, if it was that extreme in real life, it would be concerning. But without that like exaggeration of it being like a comedy anime, just that by itself is kind of like a sweet little storyline. You know, they're both lonely. They're both alone. They dedicate themselves to what they are being told needs to be done, sort of. And maybe Takai wanted to be like that. He wanted to be a workaholic. That's why his wife left him. But that left him incredibly lonely, never had a kid of his own. And then he meets this kid who's becoming like him. Like, if nothing ever changed in Recruit's life, he probably would have grown up to be just like Takai. But because he found somebody that can change him and, you know, show him, get rid of his loneliness, basically, he's becoming a sort of, not necessarily, well, I'll say for the sake of clarity, becoming a better person. Because I'm sure there could be a more nuanced way to explain it that makes more sense. But that's what I'm going to go with for now. And so the fact that not Takane, god damn it, I keep wanting to call him Takane, but the fact that Recruit wants, or not Recruit, where am I going with this? I've lost my train of thought. But the fact that Recruit was so always alone because of the way he was raised, he has to be better than everyone, he can't be indebted to anybody. Oh, and that experience where his father said to I believe an elementary school kid, or a very young kid in general, just like, oh, your essay is shit, it's too vague, you need to be specific, at such a young age, expecting him to be like this perfect adult like he is. Just insane. And like, again, it's played up for jokes, but if he was really forcing his son, like, you need to pay me back for when I raised you when you were younger. You need to pay back for those, like, however many years I've raised you. And by him pretending to be a baby and having his son take care of him. That's the kind of, even though, again, it was played up for laughs and it's exaggerated, obviously, there is definitely some parents out there who is like, they expect their kids to make it up everything that they've had to do for, even though realistically it was the parents' choice to have a kid in the first place. They chose to do all those things for them. While it is, yes, children do owe, to a certain extent, their parents for whatever they did, I don't think it should be like one of those things that's expected, because that just makes you seem like a really selfish person, doing things, doing nice things, like doing your job and expecting to get paid makes sense, but like going out of your way to like help an old lady cross the street, that's something you do out of the good of your heart, not because you expect somebody to give you something in return. You would look like an asshole if you did that. So raising a kid, some people do it so they can have like somebody indebted to them, like, I raised you, you owe me. But that, like, childbirth and child raising is one of those things that you do out of like the goodness of your heart because you love those kids, type thing. So the way Recruit was raised is just kind of heartbreaking. So that's why, again, despite it being like exaggerated for the purpose of being an anime, despite being over the top because it's an anime, just trying to find some sort of connection, trying to have somebody so you're not just by yourself all the time. I think that's like a relatable thing that everyone can feel. So they don't want to be alone, because humans are like inherently social creatures. And you know what? They made a joke at the end there while he's still heartbroken that he can't be the one to get rid of Recruit's loneliness. The fact that he was willing to at least leave and stop trying to eliminate the new person in his life, eliminate the new person in Recruit's life to be the only one. That's I think that speaks a bit to his maturity. He doesn't want to get in the way, and that's like the biggest thing that a parent might have to go through in the future, is knowing that someday somebody else is going to be in charge of them. It's not going to be you protecting them. And they mentioned it. They sort of were trying to have like a father and son relationship, because Recruit has kind of a shitty father. Man, it's really interesting. I enjoyed this whole thing a lot. This Shimazaki lady, I believe her name was, and she's interesting. She blushed at the dude with the white line. I don't know what's up with that. That's like the one thing that's concerning. I'm concerned about in regards to her. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. Really interesting episode. How long I've been talking about that? Because I've been talking about that, longer than I thought it would be. Usually these discussion bits for these episodes aren't as long as like other series. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. If you watched all to this point, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. It also helps me out a lot. Thank you once again for watching. Peace.